And let's cut across to the Chinese President Xi Jinping, who is speaking at a multilateral summit.
New business forms and models are flourishing. As a result, new growth drivers are being created. We are seeing a profound change in the model of global growth. As time advances, development has taken on profoundly richer implications. The vision of innovative, coordinated, green and open development for all is gaining increasing public support. To achieve more comprehensive, higher quality and more sustainable development has become the shared goal of the international community. To implement the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and adapt to climate change and other challenges of a global nature has become an important international consensus. We are seeing a profound change in economic globalization. Over the last few decades, economic globalization has contributed significantly to global growth. Indeed, it has become an irreversible historical trend. Against the backdrop of evolving global developments, economic globalization also faces new adjustments in both form and substance. In pursuing economic globalization, we should make it more open, more inclusive, more balanced, more equitable, and more beneficial to all. We are seeing a profound change in the system of global economic governance. The evolving global economic environment demands more from the system of global economic governance. We should uphold multilateralism, pursue shared growth through consultation and collaboration, forge closer partnerships, and build a community with a shared future for mankind. This, I believe, is what we should do in conducting global economic governance in a new era. Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, faced with the profound changes in the global economy, should we, the Asia-Pacific economies, lead reform and innovation, or should we hesitate and proceed haltingly? Should we steer economic globalization, or should we dither and stall in the face of challenge? Should we jointly advance regional cooperation, or should we go our separate ways? Here is my answer. We must advance with the trend of the times, live up to our responsibility, and work together to deliver a bright future of development and prosperity for the Asia-Pacific. First, we should continue to foster an open economy that benefits all. Openness brings progress, while self-seclusion leaves one behind. We, the Asia-Pacific economies, know this too well from our own development experience. We should put in place a regional cooperation framework that ensures consultation among equals, wide participation, and shared benefits. We should build an open Asia-Pacific economy and promote trade and investment liberalization and facilitation. We should make economic globalization more open, inclusive, and balanced so that it can benefit different countries and people of different social groups. We should proactively adapt to the evolving international division of labor and actively reshape the global value chain so as to upgrade our economies and build up new strengths. We should support the multilateral trading regime and practice open regionalism to allow developing members to benefit more from international trade and investment. The building of a free trade area of the Asia-Pacific is a long-cherished dream of the business community in our region. It was in response to the call of the business community that APEC leaders initiated the FTAP vision in Hanoi in 2006. Then in 2014, the FTAP process was launched in Beijing. We must get into action, fully implement the Beijing roadmap, move toward the FTAP, and provide an institutional underpinning for an open economy in the Asia-Pacific. Second, we should continue to pursue innovation-driven development and create new drivers of growth. The current global economic recovery is largely driven by cyclical factors, and the lack of self-generating driving forces remains a nagging problem. To avoid the risk of the global economy entering a new mediocre, we must sustain growth through innovation. The new round of technological and industrial revolutions is unfolding before us. The digital economy and sharing economy are taking the world by storm. Breakthroughs have been made in new technologies such as artificial intelligence and quantum science. We cannot afford to act like onlookers. What we should do is to seize the opportunity, increase input in innovation, change development model, and nurture new growth areas. We should promote structural reform and remove all institutional and systematic barriers to innovation, and to energize the market. We should implement the APEC Accord on Innovative Development, Economic Reform and Growth adopted in Beijing. We need to deepen cooperation on the Internet and digital economy and strive to be a global leader of innovative growth. Third, we should continue to enhance connectivity and achieve interconnected development. Interconnected development is the best way to achieve mutual benefit and win-win outcomes. We, the Asia-Pacific economies, are closely connected, and our interests are interlocked. Through interconnected development, a new vista will be opened up for our respective development, while a strong boost will be given to the common development of our partners. In 2014, the APEC Connectivity Blueprint was formulated. This blueprint should be our guide in building a comprehensive, all-round and multi-tiered network of Asia-Pacific connectivity. We should boost the real economy through greater connectivity, break bottlenecks to development, and unlock potentials. Through these efforts, we can achieve coordinated and interconnected development. In May this year, the Belt and Road Forum for International Cooperation was successfully held in Beijing. The Belt and Road Initiative is a joint endeavor with a clear focus on promoting infrastructure development and connectivity, on strengthening coordination on economic policies, on enhancing complementarity of development strategies, and on boosting interconnected development for common prosperity. This initiative is from China, but it belongs to the world. It is rooted in history, but it is oriented toward the future. It focuses on the Asian, European, and African continents, but it is open to all other partners. I am confident that the launch of the Belt and Road Initiative will create a broader and a more dynamic platform for Asia-Pacific cooperation. Fourth, We should continue to make economic development more inclusive and deliver its benefits to our people. The current headwinds confronting economic globalization is mostly generated by the lack of inclusiveness in development. If we are to bring the benefits of development to countries across the globe and people across our society and turn our vision into reality, then hard work is still needed. Over the past few years, we have actively explored ways to promote inclusive development and have built strong consensus about it. We should deepen regional economic integration, develop an open and inclusive market, and strengthen the bond of shared interests. We should make inclusiveness and sharing a part of our development strategies, improve systems and institutions that uphold efficiency and fairness, and safeguard social equity and justice. We should invest more in education, medical care, employment, and other areas that are important to people's livelihood. We need to address poverty and the widening gap between the rich and the poor. We should reach out to disadvantaged groups, improve the business environment for micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises, and enable the workforce to better adapt to industrial transformation. This way, everyone can have his fair share of opportunity and benefits.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, as an old Chinese saying goes, a commitment once made should be delivered. Boosting development in the Asia-Pacific requires real actions by all the members. As the world's second-largest economy, China knows fully well its responsibility. Over the past 5 years, we have taken proactive steps to adapt to, manage, and steer the new normal of China's economy and deepened supply-side structural reform. As a result, China's economy has maintained steady performance. And we are pursuing better quality, more efficient, fairer, and more sustainable development. Over the past 4 years, China's economy has grown by 7.2% on average annually, contributing over 30% of global growth. China is now a main driver powering global growth. We have worked hard to remove systematic and institutional barriers that impede development through comprehensive reform. As many as 360 major reform initiatives and more than 1,500 reform measures have been taken. Breakthroughs have been made in key areas. General frameworks for reform have been put in place in major sectors. We have stepped up efforts to build new institutions of the open economy and transform models of foreign trade and outbound investment to continue the shift from quantitative to qualitative improvement in trade. We have advanced theoretical, practical, institutional, cultural, and other explorations to unleash new impetus for growth. China has become a huge platform where all factors and players of innovation converge to make a real difference. From infrastructure to various economic sectors, from business models to ways of consumption, innovation is leading the way. We have pursued a people-centered philosophy of development to make our development more inclusive and beneficial to all. Individual income has registered sustained growth. outpacing GDP growth for many years. Income gaps between urban and rural areas and between different regions have been narrowing, middle income group expanding, and Gini coefficient dropping. More than 13 million new urban jobs have been created every year for 4 consecutive years. Significant advances have been made in pursuing green development, resulting in considerable reduction in the intensity of energy and resource consumption and marked improvement in the ecological environment. To lift all the remaining poor people out of poverty is a solemn commitment made by the Chinese government to the people. It is uppermost in my mind, and I have spent more energy on poverty alleviation than anything else. Over the past 5 years, I have been to many poor areas in China to pin down the causes of poverty and address these problems in a targeted way. As a result, decisive progress has been made in the fight against poverty. Over the past 5 years, we have lifted more than 60 million people out of poverty. The poverty headcount ratio has declined, and per capita rural income in poor areas has maintained double-digit growth. This has not come easily, and we are proud of what we've achieved in poverty alleviation. Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, China's development is an evolving historical process. Last month, the 19th National Congress of the Communist Party of China was successfully convened in Beijing. Responding to our people's desire for a better life, the Party Congress formulated a guide to action and the development blueprint for China in the new era. It is envisaged that by 2020, China will turn itself into a moderately prosperous society in all respects. And by 2035, China will basically realize socialist modernization. By the middle of this century, China will become a great modern socialist country that is prosperous, strong, democratic, culturally advanced, harmonious, and beautiful. Under the leadership of the Communist Party of China, the Chinese people will embark on a new journey. First, this is a new journey of deepening reform across the board and unleashing dynamism for development. To resolve difficulties and problems on the way forward, we must deepen all-round reform. We must focus more on resolving problems, get rid of all outdated thinking and ideas and all institutional ailments, and break through the blockades of vested interests to inspire creativity and vitality throughout society. We will develop a set of institutions that are well conceived, fully built, procedure-based, and efficiently functioning, and achieve modernization of China's system and capacity for governance. Next year, we will celebrate the 40th anniversary of China's launching of the Reform and Opening Up Initiative. China's reform will cover more areas, and more and stronger steps will be taken in pursuing this endeavor.
So that was President Xi Jinping addressing the APEC summit, where he's touched upon several key issues. We heard Donald Trump talk about how he thought the Chinese had taken advantage of American policies in terms of trade and in terms of the tariff barriers that had been put up. But now President Xi Jinping has been speaking extensively about OBOR and how the One Road and One Belt initiative will completely change the manner in which business will be conducted across the 3 continents of Asia, Europe and Africa. So APEC, a summit of these nations of the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation nations, essentially A lot of issues in terms of trade are being discussed upon, and it now remains to be seen as to what will be the upshot between the Chinese and the Americans, who are presently at loggerheads in terms of the tariff barriers, which each has been accusing the other that the other has been dealing unfairly in terms of the way in which the goods and services are exported to the other nation.